housing prices continue to tumble. They fell a record 18% in October from the same period a year ago. Most investors are, by any measure, very happy to say goodbye to 2008 and say hello to 2009. What can we expect in the new year? Joining me now are Lakshman Akizan, he's Managing Director of the Economic Cycle Research Institute, and David Kelly, JP Morgan Fund's Chief Market Strategist. Gentlemen, Happy New Year and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You know, David, I'll start with you. 2008 was by any measure awful. What do you see ahead for 2009?
Well, I hope that this is where we start the long road back. We've clearly got an economy which is still getting worse. This is a very deep recession. It looks like it's going to be at least the worst since 1982. But eventually the economy will turn, and when the economy begins to recover, I think markets will also.
Lakshman, what about you? I mean, do you think the worst is behind us?
No, I would agree that we have much more rough weather ahead of us, particularly in the first half. That's what we know, looking at forward-looking leading indicators of the economy, not just for the U.S., but also for the global economy, where we're being buffeted by a lot of weakness abroad, and that's getting transmitted through trade and manufacturing and whatnot. So we certainly have an intensifying recession for the next couple of quarters. I think there's some hope that, somewhere over the valley there's a second half recovery, but we just don't have any objective evidence of that yet.
David, a lot of people think that recovery might come from the fiscal stimulus package, which we think will come later this month. How much will that help?
I think it's really important, and I think it's very important that we energize the private sector. The one thing that I worry about here is not that the government sector in general doesn't see the importance of doing something, they do.
Không biết lại sắp cái thổi vào cái chỗ mấy à?
Getting the private sector going. So we really need a sort of a do-it-now plan for this what I would call a wait-and-see economy. Everybody's waiting to buy a house, waiting to buy a car, waiting to hire people. We've got to give people incentives to buy houses today.
Hello, nhưng dành ra chứ gì mà bé mấy cô doanh sự trong trạm cảm giác
very simply, there's triage that's going on right now, extending unemployment benefits or helping state and local government finances to keep functioning. Then there'll be the second stimulus, which is being talked about already, to kind of support consumer demand. And it's important that it has a different reaction than the first stimulus. The first stimulus sank like a stone because the recession was rapidly accelerating, and people just kind of saved that money. They didn't really go out. It didn't turn the economy around. And in the final piece, the third stage, is the big infrastructure spending that would reinforce what hopefully already is the beginning of a recovery.
You know, David, a lot of people took money out of the stock market this year or lost a lot of money if they kept their money in the stock market. In 2009, what is the best advice you can give to investors?
Just do a gut check. Are you a long-term investor or not? We all know this economy is in very rough shape here, but it will eventually recover. 5 years from now, there's no reason why we won't be back at full employment. 5 years from now, there's no reason why the markets won't reflect that. And I think the stock market in particular, and high-yield bonds in particular, are very undervalued right now relative to that long-term reality. So I think people who have time before they're going to actually need the money ought to do a gut check and just get reinvested and re-engaged in those long-term assets.
Yeah, because you would think that stocks are pretty much on sale given the type of fall that we saw in 2008, right, David?
Absolutely.